Ladies and gentlemen, McLaren 720s. The McLaren 720S is one of those cars that instantly demands attention, not only because of its aggressive looks, but also because of the aura it carries as a creation from one of the most respected names in the supercar world. When McLaren Automotive unveiled the 720S in 2017 as the successor to the 650S, it wasn't just an upgrade, it was a statement. This was McLaren telling the world that they were not only here to compete with Ferrari, Lamborghini, and Porsche, but they were here to redefine what a modern-day supercar could be. The 720S sits in McLaren's Super Series, which is the core range of their lineup, positioned between the entry-level Sports Series models and the more extreme Ultimate Series like the P1 and the Speedtail. From the very beginning, the 720S was designed to be a balance of power, elegance, engineering excellence, and above all, a machine that pushed the boundaries of speed and driver engagement. The car is named 720S after its power output, 720 metric horsepower, or 710 brake horsepower in standard measurements. And while that figure is impressive, it's only part of what makes this machine so extraordinary. Because the 720S is not just about raw power, it's about how that power is delivered, how the car uses aerodynamics, lightweight engineering, and advanced technology to transform the experience of driving into something unforgettable. Looking at the McLaren 720S, the first thing that strikes you is its design. Unlike many supercars that load themselves with sharp creases and flamboyant lines, the 720S is more fluid, more organic, almost inspired by the movement of air itself. McLaren says its design was heavily influenced by the Great White Shark, and you can see that resemblance in its smooth, predatory shape. The body isn't just for looks, it's sculpted with purpose. Every surface, every curve, and every vent is designed to channel air in a way that maximizes downforce, minimizes drag, and cools the engine. The headlights are not only lights but also serve as massive air intakes, directing airflow into the radiators. Even the dihedral doors, which open upwards in dramatic McLaren fashion, have air channels carved into them to help guide air toward the rear intakes. This focus on aerodynamics makes the 720S not just stunning to look at but also one of the most efficient supercars in terms of airflow management. The chassis of the 720S is built around McLaren's Monocage 2, a carbon fiber tub that forms the central structure of the car. Carbon fiber has long been McLaren's signature material, going all the way back to the McLaren F1 road car of the 1990s, which was the first production car to use a carbon fiber monocoque. The use of this lightweight and incredibly strong material means the 720S has an astonishingly low dry weight of around 1,283 kilograms, which is lighter than many of its competitors. Weight is the enemy of performance, and McLaren knows that reducing mass doesn't just make a car faster, it makes it sharper, more responsive, and more engaging. The Monocage 2 also improves visibility, which is something unusual in a supercar. Thanks to the way the A-pillars are designed, the 720S offers a wide, almost panoramic view out of the cockpit, which helps not only in everyday driving but also on the track when precision matters most. At the heart of the McLaren 720S is its engine, a 4.0-liter twin-turbocharged V8, codenamed M840T. This engine is an evolution of McLaren's previous 3.8-liter V8 but with significant upgrades, including a longer stroke, new turbochargers, and advanced fuel injection technology. The result is an output of 710 horsepower and 770 Nm of torque. These figures translate into astonishing performance. The 720S can launch from 0 to 100 km per hour in just 2.8 seconds, 0 to 207.8 seconds, and reach a top speed of 341 km per hour. But numbers only tell part of the story. What makes the 720S so exhilarating is the way it delivers this power. The turbos spool almost instantly, and there's a relentless surge of acceleration that feels endless. Drivers often describe the sensation as being catapulted forward with an intensity that very few road cars can match. The exhaust note, while not as operatic as a naturally aspirated Ferrari V8, carries its own unique character, with a hard-edged, mechanical growl that suits the car's high-tech personality. The transmission is a 7-speed dual-clutch automatic gearbox that shifts with incredible speed and precision. In automatic mode, it can be smooth and refined, making the car surprisingly usable in day-to-day driving. But switch to manual mode, and the paddles behind the steering wheel unleash razor-sharp gear changes that make the car feel like a race machine for the road. One of the standout aspects of the 720S is how it blends extreme performance with surprising usability. This is a car that can dominate on a track, yet still be driven comfortably on public roads. McLaren's proactive chassis control 2 system plays a huge role in this. Instead of traditional anti-roll bars, the 720S uses a network of hydraulic circuits connected to sensors that constantly monitor the car's behavior. This allows the suspension to adapt in real time, reducing body roll in corners while still offering a remarkably smooth ride when cruising. The result is a car that feels stable, predictable, and confidence-inspiring, even when pushing it to its limits. Step inside the 720S, and you're greeted by a cabin that's both minimalist and luxurious. McLaren doesn't go overboard with flashy details, instead focusing on the essentials. The driving position is near perfect, with the driver sitting low, surrounded by controls that are angled towards them. The steering wheel is free of buttons, keeping the focus purely on the act of driving. Behind the wheel, the digital driver's display has a unique feature. It can fold down into a slim strip when in track mode, showing only the essential information like speed and revs, minimizing distraction and maximizing focus. The materials used throughout the interior are high quality, with Alcantara, leather, and carbon fiber dominating the space. While it's not as plush as some Italian rivals, it reflects McLaren's philosophy of function over excess. Technology is present but doesn't overwhelm. The central infotainment system handles navigation, media, and connectivity, but it's clear that the car's real focus is on performance. Driving the McLaren 720S is an experience that blends intensity with precision. On a twisty mountain road, the car feels alive, every input from the steering wheel, throttle, or brakes met with an immediate response. The hydraulic steering system, a rarity in modern cars dominated by electric steering, provides unmatched feedback, letting the driver feel exactly what the front tires are doing. This connection gives the driver confidence, even when exploring the car's massive performance envelope. The brakes, carbon ceramic as standard, are powerful and fade-resistant, essential for a car that can reach such extreme speeds. Whether on a racetrack or an open highway, the 720S delivers a sense of occasion every time it's driven. The 720S has also been offered in various special editions and variants, such as the 720S Spider, which adds the drama of open-top driving without compromising structural rigidity, thanks to the strength of the carbon fiber chassis. McLaren also introduced bespoke versions through their MSO, McLaren Special Operations Division, where customers can personalize their cars with unique colors, trims, and details. The 720S has become a favorite among collectors and enthusiasts because it combines usability with staggering performance, making it one of the most versatile supercars available. But perhaps the most important thing about the McLaren 720S is what it represents. It embodies McLaren's racing DNA, their obsession with lightweight engineering, and their relentless pursuit of performance. This is a company born out of Formula One, and that heritage is evident in every detail of the car. The 720S is not just another supercar, it's a technological showcase, a demonstration of how far engineering can go when pushed by passion and precision. It's a car that reminds us that driving can still be an art form, an experience that stirs emotions and creates memories. For those who have had the chance to drive or even ride in a McLaren 720S, the impression it leaves is unforgettable. The acceleration pins you to the seat, the handling sharpens your senses, and the sheer drama of its presence makes you feel like you're part of something extraordinary. It's more than just transportation, it's a statement, a dream realized in carbon fiber, metal, and turbocharged fury. And in a world where cars are becoming increasingly digital, automated, and sanitized, the 720S stands as a reminder that passion and engineering can still create something visceral, something pure, something that makes your heart race every time you press the start button. The McLaren 720S is not merely another entry in the crowded world of exotic performance cars, it is a culmination of decades of racing knowledge, road car experimentation, and an obsession with lightweight engineering. To truly understand the significance of the 720S, one must first appreciate where McLaren came from. McLaren as a brand has its roots in Formula One, founded by Bruce McLaren, a man whose philosophy centered on one simple principle: the car should be as light as possible while still being immensely strong. That philosophy carried over decades later when McLaren returned to road car production in the 1990s with the legendary McLaren F1, which to this day is considered by many the greatest supercar ever made. The F1 set a benchmark for performance, usability, and technical innovation, a standard that every McLaren road car since has tried to live up to. The 720S, in many ways, is the car that comes closest to carrying that spirit into the modern era. When McLaren introduced the 650S, it was already a remarkable machine, but it felt like an evolution rather than a revolution of the MP4 to 12C before it. The 720S, however, was a leap forward, not just in performance numbers but in how it redefined what a McLaren could be. From the moment it was revealed at the Geneva Motor Show in 2017, the 720S stunned the world with its futuristic design and engineering breakthroughs. It wasn't trying to mimic Ferrari or Lamborghini. It wasn't borrowing drama from anyone else. Instead, it presented a new design language that looked like the future of speed, carved into carbon fiber and aluminum. The surfaces were clean yet complex, aggressive yet elegant. The lack of large side air intakes, something almost every mid-engine supercar traditionally has, made it stand out. Instead, the doors themselves were sculpted to channel air into the engine bay. It was the kind of clever engineering disguised as design that set McLaren apart. The aerodynamics of the 720S are worth diving into because they are a work of art. Every curve and crease is functional. The smooth front nose guides air under the car and through the radiators. The active rear wing deploys not only to increase downforce at high speeds but also acts as an air brake when slowing from extreme velocity. The underbody is designed like a Formula One car's, with channels that accelerate airflow and create suction to keep the car planted to the road. Even the headlights are recessed into massive air channels, proving that nothing on this car is simply decorative. McLaren did not build the 720S to look dramatic, it built it to slice through the air with ruthless efficiency, and the result is a car that turns heads while simultaneously performing like a machine bred for racing. The lightweight structure of the monocage too is another element that makes the 720S so special. By using a carbon fiber monocoque as its foundation, McLaren not only kept the weight astonishingly low but also created a structure that is incredibly stiff and safe. The strength of carbon fiber means the car can absorb and dissipate energy in the event of a crash while still giving the driver and passenger a cocoon of protection. More importantly, the rigidity it provides allows the suspension to work more precisely, giving the 720S its razor-sharp handling. The entire chassis is so light and stiff that it almost feels like an extension of your own body when you're driving. Now, the heart of the 720S, the M840T engine, is a masterpiece in itself. At 4 liters in displacement, it may not sound massive compared to some naturally aspirated version 10S or version 12s, but with twin turbochargers, it produces 710 horsepower and 770 Nm of torque. What sets it apart from many turbocharged engines is the immediacy of its response. Turbo lag, that dreaded pause between pressing the throttle and feeling the power surge, is virtually eliminated thanks to twin-scroll turbos and sophisticated engine mapping. The moment you step on the gas, the 720S rockets forward with a ferocity that feels almost otherworldly. Many drivers who have experienced the 720S describe it as bordering on frightening in how fast it can accelerate. The sprint from 0 to 60 miles per hour in 2.8 seconds may be a statistic, but in real life, it feels like your stomach is left behind as the car disappears toward the horizon. Top speed figures of 212 miles per hour or 341 kilometers per hour put it in the realm of the fastest production cars in the world, but what makes the 720S more remarkable is how it gets there. It's not just about a big engine, it's about the relationship between aerodynamics, weight, suspension, and electronics. The gearbox plays a huge role as well, with the 7-speed dual-clutch transmission firing off shifts with the kind of precision and speed you'd expect from a race car. Yet, when left in automatic mode, it is smooth enough to make city driving surprisingly easy. This dual personality is what defines the 720S. It can be calm, comfortable, and composed, and then in an instant, it can transform into a ferocious beast that devours asphalt. The proactive chassis control 2 system is one of the most innovative aspects of the 720S. Instead of using conventional anti-roll bars, McLaren employs a hydraulic suspension network that communicates between all 4 wheels. Sensors constantly monitor everything from steering angle to wheel movement to road conditions, adjusting damping in milliseconds. This means the 720S can corner flat and true when you're attacking a racetrack, but it can also glide over rough roads with a level of comfort that would embarrass many so-called grand tourers. It is this adaptability that makes the 720S such a versatile machine. You could take it on a long highway journey without feeling beaten up, and then drive it onto a track and set lap times that rival dedicated race cars. Few supercars can claim that kind of breadth and ability. Inside the 720S, the focus is clear, the driver is at the center of everything. The interior is not cluttered with buttons or unnecessary gadgets. The steering wheel is clean, free of distractions, so your hands focus solely on controlling the car. The digital display behind the wheel can transform depending on the mode you're in. When in normal driving, it shows all the information you'd expect, but switch to track mode and it folds down into a thin strip, giving you only speed and revs, exactly what you need when driving at the limit. It's a clever solution that feels futuristic yet purposeful. The seats can be specified in lightweight racing form or more padded comfort style, depending on what the owner prefers. Everywhere you look, the materials speak of high quality, from Alcantara to carbon fiber, but never in a way that feels gaudy or overdone. McLaren's design ethos is about purity and focus, not about drowning the driver in luxury for the sake of it. Where the McLaren 720S really shines is on the road or the track when you push it to its limits. The steering, being hydraulically assisted rather than electrically, gives a level of feedback that is rare in modern cars. You can feel exactly what the front tires are doing, whether they are gripping, slipping, or loading up through a corner. This connection builds confidence, and confidence is everything in a car this fast. The brakes, being carbon ceramic, are more than capable of hauling the car down from extreme speeds repeatedly without fade. And when the active rear wing pops up to act as an air brake, the stopping power becomes even more dramatic. The balance of the car is another hallmark. Thanks to its mid-engine layout and light weight, the 720S feels agile and composed, rotating through corners with precision. Push it hard, and it feels alive, but never unmanageable. It rewards skill, but it doesn't punish recklessness the way some older supercars used to. It strikes a near-perfect balance between accessibility and challenge. When comparing the 720S to its rivals, it stands tall in almost every area. Against the Ferrari 488 Pista, the McLaren offers a more futuristic design and arguably sharper handling. Against the Lamborghini Huracan Performante, the 720S delivers far more power and a more advanced suspension system. Against the Porsche 911 Turbo S, the McLaren feels more exotic, more visceral, though the Porsche may have an edge in everyday usability. What makes the 720S so compelling is that it doesn't just play in one league, it can fight all of them on their own turf. It is faster than most, lighter than many, and more technologically advanced than nearly all. For owners, the 720S is more than just a performance machine. It is also a piece of art, a talking point, and a status symbol. Pulling up anywhere in a 720S draws a crowd. The dihedral doors alone are enough to make people stop and stare. But more than just looks, the ownership experience is about connection. McLaren offers extensive personalization through its MSO division, allowing buyers to tailor everything from paint colors to interior materials to bespoke features. Each car can be unique, a reflection of its owner's personality. And because McLaren builds fewer cars than Ferrari or Lamborghini, there is a certain exclusivity that comes with owning one. It's not a car you see on every street corner. It's special every single time you look at it. And yet, despite its exclusivity, the 720S is surprisingly usable. Unlike some supercars that feel cramped, difficult to see out of, or exhausting to drive, the McLaren offers excellent visibility, comfortable seating, and even a practical front trunk for luggage. Owners often remark how easy it is to live with compared to other exotics. This usability makes the 720S one of the few true supercars that you could realistically drive every day if you wanted to, without sacrificing the drama and performance that make it special. Culturally, the McLaren 720S has become a modern icon. It has appeared in countless YouTube reviews, video games, and automotive magazines, often being hailed as one of the best drivers' cars ever made. Influencers, collectors, and enthusiasts around the world have celebrated it for its combination of extreme performance and futuristic design. For younger generations, the 720S has become one of the dream cars they pin on their walls, just as the Ferrari F40 or Lamborghini Countach were for earlier generations. It represents what is possible when cutting-edge technology meets pure passion for driving. Thanks for watching. Say you guys soon. Take care.